officers have begun patrolling the streets of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince. The first contingent of more than 400 arrived in Haiti on Tuesday as part of a UN-approved peacekeeping mission in the Caribbean country that has been ravaged by violence in recent months. Residents in Haiti are hopeful that this long-delayed mission will bring a turnaround to the current situation.
We need peace. If the Kenyan police forces are here, it's so we can return to the lives we had before. We think the government is doing this right.
We cannot take no more because that's enough. Enough is enough. We've suffered too much. We cannot take it no more because the Kenyan people, we need them around here. Because the gang member, man, they don't. They because the suffering so much, but with the Kenyan people, man, I think mental will be good, man.
Haiti has long faced unrest, with the surging violence since March displacing nearly 580,000 people, according to the UN Migration Agency. The UN estimates nearly 5 million are facing severe food insecurity. The peacekeeping mission was requested by a previous Haitian government back in 2022. It is expected to eventually form a 2,500-strong force with personnel from 15 other countries across Africa, North America, Europe, and the Caribbean. Muturi Kaibere, CGTN.
Haiti's most visible gang leader, Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier, responding to the first cohort of Kenyan police arriving in the country. He's not happy. Hear a Kenyan shoot them, he's saying to his men. Haiti's most visible gang leader, Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier, responding to the first cohort of Kenyan police arriving in the country. He's not happy. Hear a Kenyan shoot them, he's saying to his men. Haiti's been largely lawless for years. Gangs who rape, murder, rob and extort are all powerful. Previously at war, they formed an alliance called Vivre Ensemble, Live Together, aimed against the new force which threatens their control. The Kenyan police will later be joined by more officers and soldiers from other countries to form a 2,500-strong force. It's estimated that the gangs can count on far more fighters, albeit with little training or discipline. Cherizier warns of a bloodbath.
It's a fight for us, a fight for the country, and we'll fight for it. Even if I die, I'm sure that there'll be successors and there'll be other people who will continue this fight.
Haitians that Al Jazeera talked to want a change and safety, but are skeptical the force can provide it.
We have police and military that are specialized to fight the gangs. Why are they not deployed? I give the Kenyan force until August to start solving the problem. Otherwise, they're just here for the money.
But with an estimated 80% of the capital under gang control, they agree something had to be done. So did the international community. The United States pushed for the force. The United Nations backed it. Now Haiti's interim prime minister has welcomed it.
The people of Kenya have heard the cries and sufferings of the Haitian people, and they are here in a spirit of solidarity with our police.
He says the force will get to work soon.
The first contingent has been mobilized and is solidly in place to accompany and support Haitian strategies to regain our security, house by house, neighborhood by neighborhood, town by town.
Cherizier did talk to Al Jazeera about negotiation, not just battle.
Many people think we're afraid and that we're asking for forgiveness when we're asking for dialogue. So I think today people with military training, even if you are in the middle of fighting, you should have an open door to dialogue.
But in order to lay down their weapons, gang leaders have said they want amnesty and a seat at the table over the country's future. After the crimes they've committed, lives they've ended or damaged, that will be too much for many Haitians to swallow. John Holman, Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
Welcome, everyone. I am Brenda Radido, and this is Africa Matters. Kenyan police officers have been in the news for their heavy-handed response to deadly anti-tax protests. They're also facing fierce opposition to their deployment to Haiti as part of a multinational force to tackle gang violence. We ask how they can help to bring peace to Haiti when they're accused of failing to do just that in their own capital city. It's been 2 years since Haiti's previous government requested a peacekeeping mission to tackle the escalating violence. Now, about 80% of its capital is under gang control. The United Nations backed a Kenya-led multinational policing mission set to reach 2,500 officers. But what is it all about? The US says at least 17 countries have pledged financial or personnel support to the mission that aims to help Haitian police restore order, enough to hold free and fair elections. The international force is deployed for 1 year, but will be reviewed after 9 months.
But I want no one to doubt the purpose of the mission. The state will regain power and reaffirm its authority, so all Haitians can live peacefully in this country. We ask all of you to be prepared to make sacrifices. We must take our responsibilities before history, and we must send another image of Haiti. Haiti was not like this, and Haiti cannot stay like this.
The operation is funded by voluntary contributions from UN member states, and so far, the US and UN have pledged just over half of the $600 million Kenyan estimates it will need for the multinational force. The Kenyan deployment is also going ahead despite an ongoing court case that argues it's illegal.
The Constitution of Haiti, only a legitimately democratically elected president can actually make such a request to another country. And you all have heard the judge. There's really no reciprocity between us and Haiti. And therefore, to that extent, we are very happy with the decision of the court, the interpretation of the Kenya Defense Forces Act, the fact that only forces, the Kenya Army, the Navy and the Air Force are the only ones that, under the mandate, the power of the council, they could deploy outside Kenya. Otherwise, there is every reason why when we were doing the constitution, writing this constitution, we renamed it from a police force to a police service.
Rights groups say Kenyan police face accusations of abuse and corruption back home and may struggle to operate since they don't speak Haitian, Creole, or French. Residents also fear it could be like previous missions that have failed to bring long-lasting stability to the country.
I still believe that this is a national problem and that the leaders must unite to move forward. After they leave, the same things will happen again. So the real solution won't come from foreigners. It's not up to them to solve anything.
Let's hear more from Kim Ives. He is the English language editor at the weekly Haiti Libate. He joins me from New York. Kim, thank you for joining us here on African Matters. How have the gangs responded to the arrival of the first batch of the international security officers since they threatened to oppose any foreign interventions?
Well, the battle hasn't been joined yet, but I spoke yesterday with the leader of the Vivre Ensemble coalition of neighborhood armed groups, Vivre Ensemble. Jimmy Cherizier is his name, and he has said that they will treat them as invaders. They see them as proxies of the U.S., I think correctly, and are there to try to snuff out the revolutionary process that he envisages for Haiti, which is simply to demand that the government provide the people with schools, hospitals, sanitation, electricity, roads, internet, the basics of life, which they've been deprived of over the last 3 decades of neoliberal austerity.
But what will this international force face once they are on the ground?
Well, they now have 400 soldiers. I don't know what they can do. I see that a Kenyan spokesperson has said that they will not be an occupying force, that they will simply be defending various government positions. I presume that means they'll be guarding the airport, the port, the palace, the prime minister's residence, the electrical generating stations, that sort of thing, and will not be taking the fight to the armed groups of Vivre Ensemble, as some had proposed them to do. But I think for sure there will be some sort of battles between the Kenyans and the Vivre Ensemble in the very near future.
So does it make any difference that this is the first Africa-led security mission to Haiti, and other countries who have a better understanding of the terrain and language are not leading it?
Well, yeah, and it's not really African-led. I mean, this is what many have called blackface imperialism. They simply have taken the Kenyans and put them in front of what is a Washington-led effort. Washington couldn't even get the UN Security Council to agree to put in place a normally UN Security Council led and overseen military force. So they came up with an arrangement, solution to this, which is essentially the US organizes and pays for a proxy force to go in, and the UN Security Council gives it some sort of benediction. Of course, China and Russia both refused to vote on that. They abstained because they see it's going to be a total disaster. And that's not just my words, that's the words of the US State Department official who's paying for this, or raising the money, 300 million so far. It's probably going close to $1 billion, according to some sources I've spoken to. So this is looking like it's going to be, in his words, truly a disaster.
All right. But then, details about the operation are scanty. But how is the unusual nature of the force UN approved, but not really a UN nor a peacekeeping mission likely to impact the operations of the force?
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's operating in complete secrecy. That is, we haven't seen the conception of operations, what's called the CONOPS. We haven't seen the rules of engagement. We have seen, they have put out the what's called the Status of Forces Agreement, or SOFA. And that essentially says that the Kenyans have complete immunity. The Haitians would call it impunity. That is, any crime they commit cannot be prosecuted in Haiti. And this is pretty much par for the course. Let's remember that Haiti has had 2 foreign military interventions in the past 30 years, one in 1994 and one in 2004. And particularly the last one, the latter, there were many crimes, including the importation of a cholera epidemic into the country that killed 10,000 people and sickened close to 1 million. You have rapes and massacres. They dropped fire bombs on crowded slums, and nobody was ever prosecuted for these crimes. Now, this is going to continue with the Kenyans.
All right. So, lastly, do you think it will help restore order for the people of Haiti? Because back home, they have failed to do that.
Yeah, well, exactly that. I mean, we see as the Kenyan forces are being deployed, all hell is breaking loose in Nairobi. And to me, this is how empires collapse. Everything starts to become a crisis all at once, everywhere. And it's a little bit like the Dutch fable of the boy trying to plug the holes in the leaking dike. You know, they take their finger out of one problem and it comes gushing out of another hole. So I think that, you know, this is, as the French would say, and is sometimes said in Haiti, a fuite en avant, a flight forward. They're simply trying to resolve this through this blackface imperialism, as it's being called. And I think it's going to end up backfiring on them and creating a lot of blowback in countries like Kenya.
All right.